The filing, a federal lawsuit against the sitting commissioner. This is Delta Deep Dive, and today the story shifts. The first 3 episodes, we walked through the PPO hearings, the ex parte interview, the December adjournment, and the January 24th collapse in open court. We watched a case unravel under its own weight. We watched a judge push back against hearsay, against speculation, and against the bending of legal standards. We watched a narrative fall apart in real time. But on March 17th, 2025, the story didn't end. It flipped. Because on that day, a federal lawsuit was filed in the Western District of Michigan. A lawsuit that didn't just revisit the PPO. It reframed the entire conflict. And the plaintiff wasn't the person seeking protection. It was the person who had been accused, Reid Hyken. The defendants? A sitting county commissioner, Kelli van Ginhoven. The former director of public safety, Robert LaMarche. A former Escanaba public safety detective, Sam Pouliot. And the City of Escanaba. This wasn't a local dispute anymore. This was federal. And the timing matters, because when this lawsuit was filed, Kelli wasn't just a former candidate. She wasn't a private citizen. She had won her seat on the Delta County Board of Commissioners. She held public office. And although she wasn't yet a declared state Senate candidate at the time of filing, she is now, which means the lawsuit sits in the background of a much larger political landscape. The complaint opens with a line that sets the tone for everything that follows. This is a case of cronyism and local politics run amok. That's not cautious language. That's not diplomatic. That's not the phrasing of a minor disagreement. That is the opening shot of a constitutional fight. According to the lawsuit, the story begins long before the PPO hearings. It begins in 2022, when Kelli announced her run for the District 4 seat. And when Reid, a supporter of incumbent Commissioner David Moyle, believed she wasn't living where she claimed she was. He reported her to the Michigan State Police. He documented the exterior of the building she listed as her residence. He spoke publicly about his concerns. The lawsuit frames these actions not as harassment, not as intimidation, but as political speech, the kind the First Amendment protects most fiercely. And then the lawsuit makes its first major allegation, that Kelli, in response, colluded with the Director of Public Safety to turn a political dispute into a criminal case. It points to the August 23rd and 24th email chain, the one where LaMarche laid out options, and Kelli chose the one that would lead to a warrant request. The lawsuit claims this wasn't policing. This was planning. From there, the complaint walks through the events we've already covered in episode 1 through 3, but from a different angle. Not as a petitioner seeking protection, but as a plaintiff alleging retaliation. The lawsuit argues that the criminal case, the bond conditions, the social media ban, the PPO attempts, the public narrative that followed were not the natural consequences of misconduct, but the result of political motivation. And then it goes further. It alleges that the criminal case was used to influence public opinion during the recall effort, that the stalking charge became a talking point, that the mugshot became a weapon, that the narrative became a tool, and it alleges that the damage didn't end when the charge was dismissed, because the restrictions, the tether, the silence order, the public perception, those lingered. The lawsuit claims constitutional violations, First Amendment retaliation, abuse of process, municipal liability. It seeks damages, it seeks accountability, and it seeks a legal declaration that what happened wasn't just unfortunate, it was unlawful. But here's the part that matters most for where we're going next. The lawsuit doesn't just challenge the past, it sets the stage for the future. Because lawsuits have discovery, depositions, documents, emails, internal communications, timelines, contradictions, and sworn testimony that cannot be reshaped later. And while we're not opening that vault yet, the existence of the vault changes everything. This episode marks the beginning of a new arc, one where the story is no longer about a PPO hearing or a dismissed charge. It's about a federal case against a sitting commissioner who is now seeking higher office. A case that alleges the misuse of police power. A case that alleges political retaliation. A case that alleges constitutional harm. And a case that will eventually reveal far more than what's in the complaint. But for now, we stay with the filing. The moment the narrative flipped. The moment the accused became the accuser. The moment the local story became a federal one. This is Delta Deep Dive, and the lawsuit has just begun.